Hey guys, Hayley from Low Carb Central, doing a bit of an unconventional thing today. I'm making some of the LC white bread with some new instructions that Glenn and I have been working together on. Our bread here in Australia seems to have not risen quite as much, which means we're ending up with smaller, denser loaves. So we're just trying to work on it. But we're moving on Friday and it's currently Wednesday, so I've kind of got stuff that's already all packed. So I'm using a pretty big glass bowl here, which is actually from my turbo oven, and I've had to kind of mix everything in already. So in here I've got my I'm making a loaf that's using 3 cups of the LC white bread flour. So in here I've got 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, I've got 2 teaspoons of the LC white, and I have 3 teaspoons of instant dried yeast. So you've got to make sure that you're using instant dried yeast. What I'm going to do now is add my 3 cups of flour. This was the only measuring spoon that I still had out, and it's only 1/4 of a cup, so unfortunately that's kind of where we're at the moment. So I'm just going to mix all of my dry ingredients together. Now again, I only have a spoon out, I don't actually have a wooden spoon, so I'm just going to mix that all in. We're going to knead this by hand. One of the things that Glenn thinks might be happening is that we might be over kneading it with our bread machines. So now what I'm going to do is I have my wet mixture here, and I've had to mix it all together because I only have 2 bowls left out. So what I've mixed together is 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 tablespoon plus 1.5 teaspoons of shortening, 3/4 of a cup of room temperature water. So I'm going to mix that in and give it a stir, and then get ready and start kneading it. So I'm only going to need this for, what does Glenn say? 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, I kneaded this for 6 minutes and then just sort of shaped it into the shape I wanted to put it into my bread pan. So there it is in my bread pan. I'm going to now put this in an area that's about 30 degrees and going to let this rise. You can see that my bread has risen quite a lot. That's quite a high loaf. So I'm going to pop that into the oven now for about 15 minutes on 180 degrees. So our bread's just come out of the oven. I'm just going to measure this loaf for you so you can see how big it is. This loaf is 23 centimeters long. It's 11 centimeters wide, and it's about 6-7 centimeters high. So we'll cut it up and see how many slices we get out of it, and you can have a look inside as well. So there's 15 slices there of our bread, and I'll show you some of the slices so you can see how big they are. These are about as big as my hand. And you can see the bread, it's quite hot there, but you can see my bread, it's risen quite a bit. I'm still not getting a huge amount of rise in this last third down the bottom, but I'll work on that. But it's a fantastic tasting bread, really good, not spongy, it's lovely.